Good afternoon, folks. Real quick one. I'm recording some tutorials for the online programs, and I'm in the middle of doing exercises, breakdowns as to why people have problems. And this is one of the biggest, and this is probably one of the biggest ones I encounter. Why deadlifts hurt your back. And a lot of people, in fairness, a lot of PTs don't even realise this. And I see this on Instagram and Facebook all the time. PTs putting up videos of their clients. And it's just like, you're just waiting to see these people get back injuries because of the way they're deadlifting. You've got to understand, it's a very basic premise. When you're deadlifting, you're hinging. What a hinge is you're pushing your bum back, you're folding the hips, and then you're pushing forward. Think of it as if you were going to do a jump forward. If I'm going to jump forward like a long jump, I'm going to hinge back and I'm going to dive into a swimming pool, and then I'm going to jump forward and drive myself forward. So with that premise in mind, what you're going to do is you're going to load the hips up backwards. You're going to push your bum back to allow you to thrust forward. Think of it like a bow and arrow, pulling the string of a bow back so that it projects the arrow forward. So with that in mind, this is what a lot of people are doing. They're lifting like that. Now I can demonstrate the difference with this pole. If I demonstrate Instagram deadlift, I smash my face into that pole. If I do a hinge properly, you can see my head does not come near the pole, simply because I'm no longer thinking of bending over. I'm pushing my hips back. What does that do? Well, consider the weight here. I'll hold this lightweight. This weight here, right in this place, is exactly where it should be to keep it as safe as possible for my lower back. It's at my balance point. So if I hinge back, this weight is as close to this point as possible. If I bend over, you can see the distance between the weight and my balance point increases, meaning that there's more pressure on my lower back to support that weight. So a lot of people, they encounter deadlifting problems because they've got no mobility, lack of mobility. I have been pretty open about my hip replacement for the last year and how it's affected me. And how I counteract my deadlift is by simply putting it up onto a platform. So this is what most people encounter. They get into a deadlift position. They can't get themselves into a position where they are comfortable. So this happens and they pull the weight up with their lower back, and then they keep it as straight as possible for a bit, but then they can't get to the floor, so their lower back is rounded. Now, with a light weight, that's not going to get worked on here. With lightweight, that isn't going to be too bad. But if I start going near my 351 RM, God damn these motherfuckers, that's going to cause a lot of problems. And eventually it's going to lead to injury. So, how do you counteract that? Very simple. Platforms, weight plates, anything you can do to raise the bar up so that when you're in that position, your spine is nice and straight. You're able to get into a comfortable position, and it's going to allow you to lift the weight from a place where you're safe. Is it ideal? Probably not. Ideally, you want the weight on the floor, obviously, because that's going to increase the greatest range of movement, and then you go into deficits. But the reality is, if you're not capable of doing that, but you are capable of lifting from a certain height, how you can approach that is very simply, lift the weight that you're going to lift from the platform. Work on the mobility in between your sets, allowing your range of movement to increase over time, and slowly but surely increase the range of movement, decrease the weight, work back up, increase the weight again, decrease the range of movement, etc., and go on forward like that. So, for example, right now I'm going to be here. I can get myself in this position, but you see, to be honest, I know that my knees are starting to track a bit too far forward, and it's going to force me into a position that's not optimal to lift the weight. So, if I lift it up 3 or 4 inches, I'm now able to get myself into a lot safer position. My back's straighter, my chin's tucked, my feet are planted perfectly, and I'm able to now control this weight, stand up tall, and then push my butt back and lower the weight down. What we're wanting to do here is keep the shins as vertical as possible and hinge. We push the bar into our thighs. As I push my bum back, that bar follows and it slides down my legs. And ideally, if I'm doing it right, my knees won't be over here, so the bar won't be going like this. It will be going back, 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 and straight down into that position and lifting up. This is just something to keep aware of, because I'm seeing so many people risking their spines and risking injury in order to try to get a weight lifted. And they don't really seem to understand that it's not about how much weight you lift, it's about how much weight you lift safely and correctly that's going to allow you to train consistently. And that consistent training is going to mean better results long term. If you keep going for the ego and you keep trying to lift weights off the floor because everyone else is doing it that way and you're not ready for it yet, you're going to end up getting injured, and that's going to derail the training, and you're going to be ending up in the same position years down the line, which I have seen happen to hundreds of people. So keep that in mind, just something to keep yourself in training.